Sorry for being oblivious, but I only just found out recently that a cup of joe means coffee. I love me a cup of coffee, especially a hot cup of oat latte. On the way home after a long day at work and an evening movie with my friend had more things to be done after getting home and she said that she needed a cup of joe to recharge. Puzzled at the term I was unfamiliar with, I asked her what it meant and she looked at me like I have two horns growing out of my head and answered, "It's a slang that means coffee." So we started to wonder how the slang came about, and I found this Reader's Digest article that talked about origin stories dating back to the 19th century. I was just then fascinated with how there's so much history behind a simple slang, and my friend brought up how Ubering somewhere might become a slang in the future where people didn't know how the term first came about. And then I replied, "Yeah, give it 50 years, maybe that would really be the case." I paused and started to think, wow, in 50 years' time, I'll be close to 80 years old. Saying that out loud, I hadn't really thought about what I would be like or what I'll be doing when I turn 80. It's probably because it's so far away that there really isn't much to ponder over at this point in time. I just want to live and deal with the present me. And yet, I find myself worrying about events that would happen in the near future, anxious about whether my goals would be achieved and if I could maintain my relationships. Recently, I have been trying to be more mindful about living in the present because it's when we live in the present that we feel peace. As the saying goes, if you are depressed, you are living in the past. If you are anxious, you are living in the future. If you are at peace, you are living in the present. Of course, I don't mean that I should completely disregard the past or the future, because looking to the past and future also helps shape my present. But really, I've come to realize that nothing is more important than the present we are living in. A while ago, I finished a book called The Things You Can See Only When You Slow Down by Haemin Sunim. I picked it up because of the title during a time when I needed some healing. I say it was a very easy read, with insights into life written straight to the point and pages that contain lovely and simple illustrations. I imagine not everyone will agree with what was said in the book easily, as Haemin Sunim puts his points across without any embellishments and forces you to reflect on how you have lived your life thus far. I thought about why I had acted the way I did in my circumstances, and reading this book showed me there are many other options and ways to think about life and how to approach it. I can either empower myself by acting in a way that serves me, or react passively like life happens to me. Here are 3 takeaways I got from this book. Sometimes we either care too much about ourselves or care too much about others. Have you experienced overwhelming thoughts that pull you in multiple directions? Thoughts like, I'm not good enough, this will never work out, they don't care about me, they would totally judge me for this. We let the numerous disempowering thoughts in our mind control our emotions and behavior. Some quotes from the book I loved that serve as great reminders are, stop worrying about what others think and just do what your heart wishes. Do not crowd your mind with what ifs. Uncomplicate your life and own up to your desires. Only when you are happy can you help to make the world a happier place. Just like emergencies on airplanes, we are always told to put oxygen masks on ourselves first before helping others. We can only start to contribute and help if we first take care of ourselves and our needs and wants. Another quote was quoting Mahatma Gandhi. Keep your thoughts positive, because your thoughts become your words. Keep your words positive, because your words become your behavior. Keep your behavior positive, because your behavior becomes your habits. Keep your habits positive, because your habits become your values. Keep your values positive, because your values become your destiny. I think most of us know these principles deep down, but we often allow the disempowering thoughts drown out our ambitions. It's not easy to condition ourselves to think in a constructive way that lifts us up. That's why I need to constantly remind myself to keep my thoughts positive, because putting myself down will not get me anywhere. Rather than allowing a self-fulfilling prophecy to keep me small, I want to let go of the what-ifs and own my desires. Even if my art is not the best or widely recognized, I want to own up to the joy of creating art that I love and to enjoy the process of improving myself every step of the way. In these past few years, I have learned to not let the numbers get to me. Seeing my growth with my own eyes is what fulfills me, and finding like-minded people who appreciate my content is a huge bonus. If we slow down and take another perspective to our approach in life, it can be an easier life to live rather than taking things too hard. Sometimes I feel like there is no other way besides the current way I am focused on. Instead of drowning in the sea of emotions I feel about people, my problems, and my desires, I want to take the position of an observer. We form stories so fast about what is happening in our minds because that's just what we humans do to make sense of the world. How we perceive the world says more about ourselves than what the world is. If I hold a grudge against someone who let me down, it shows how I let their actions have a profound impact on me. If I feel isolated and uncared for, could it be because I seek validity and esteem in the attention of others? If I feel that the only way I can improve my art is by buying better brushes and equipment, am I just taking the easy way out, rather than spending real effort to polish my skills? I don't think I am as open-minded as I like to be yet. I do get trapped in unhelpful thoughts and emotions, but I want to try to not deny possibilities or alternatives even if they seem difficult to me at first glance. Here's a quote from the book. Inside of us, there is a steep mountain of fear and a deep river of grief. But there is also the compassionate eye witnessing your inner landscape. May you find your inner witness, the source of freedom and healing. That person has his own struggles too, and although he may have let me down, he's just choosing the best course of action for himself. I choose to forgive and free myself to live in a way that's uninfluenced by his impact on me. Before I seek the attention of others, I might want to think about how secure I am with myself. Can I feel at peace and love who I am, where I'm at, even without anyone telling me how great I am or caring about me? Better brushes and equipment might improve my art, but do I really need them to create great art? Am I finding an excuse for my lack of practice and motivation? Maybe I need to explore and create more variety of art in order to find the kind of art that energizes me to enjoy improving my skills every day. We all go through the same phases and obstacles in life. What matters is our attitude and actions when dealing with them. As I go through the ups and downs of life more and more, in my journey of learning from others, I realized that struggles I face are more common than I thought. We might think that others have it all sorted out, they have it easy, or they are enjoying every second of their lives, but we don't actually know the challenges they are fighting, how they may not actually be as happy as they seem on the surface. I think why Haemin Sunim's book was so popular was because so many people could resonate with what he was sharing about going through the motions of life. As human beings, we naturally want to take the path of least resistance and pain, and more often than not, that means staying in our comfort zone. Maybe it's easier to keep hating someone than to learn to forgive. Maybe it's easier to defend your ego than to admit that you made a mistake. Maybe it's easier to think that art can only be a hobby than to think of ways to make money off of it and implement the plan. Staying in the comfort zone means we let ourselves stay in the passenger seat and allow life to drive us where it pleases. Haemin Sunim tells us in his book, as you take ownership, your life will have more purpose, and people will notice your good example. Most people stay in the passenger seat, and they laugh when they see you try to take the steering wheel. But when they see that you are actually going where you want to go, while life takes them further and further away from where they actually want to be, they might start to rethink and reflect upon what they have been doing all this time. Another quote that describes this precisely: "There is no such thing as being prepared. Life is an adventure, through which we learn and mature. Of course, we must consider all our options carefully. But if we wait for 100% certainty, then it is often too late. Take ownership of your life, your goals, desires, and struggles. Everyone encounters similar ups and downs, but in the life you are living, only you can make a difference to how you live through it." When I'm 80, where would I be? Regardless of when I'm 80 or the me now, I do hope that I can always live life mindfully, like the takeaways I have mentioned in this video, to consciously live in the present and appreciate every stage of life I'm in, even if I cannot understand everything until I can see them in hindsight. Although I don't necessarily agree with every single thing Hye-min Sunim wrote in this book, I definitely think that it's worth a read, especially when you are feeling overwhelmed and need a reminder to take a step back and slow down. Life is a journey of growth, and slow growth is healthy growth. If you enjoyed this book review from me and hope to have more similar content in the future, I would appreciate it if you like this video and subscribe so that I know this video has been helpful for you.